Hi, I'm Andrea Drew, and I'm going to quickly run through how you can write a resume professionally. I've been doing it for 13 years, so I thought I'd pass on some tips based on what I see as pretty much the most common 10 errors and mistakes I see in resume writing. So here we go. I thought we'd start with just some basic definitions of what a resume is and what a CV is. So resume basically comes from a French word and it means summary. So it's a summary of your career. A CV is Latin, it's curriculum vitae, and it basically means life history, but it's used more in Australia, particularly for more academic type resumes, although I know in the UK CV is used exclusively and they don't use the term resume. Now in this presentation I'm going to give you the formula of writing an achievements-based resume, and this achievements-based resume, honestly, from what I've seen, is going to make the difference between getting resumes and no resumes. And we'll go through why a professional resume actually does make a difference in getting interviews. Okay, so we're going to learn what most people assume is the way they should write the resume and why it's incorrect and how that actually affects their chances. We're going to assume the viewpoint of the recruiter and what they're looking for and what they want to see in the first 10 seconds of opening your resume. Now you need to keep in mind that resumes are marketing statements. They shouldn't be filled with I this, I that. It's actually a marketing document. We're going to go over something called the CAR formula when we list achievements, so challenge, action, result. And we're going to talk about some resume do's and don'ts. So why would you write a resume? Well, obviously the purpose or job of a resume is to get you a job interview, and from there, ideally a job. Now the purpose now, today, is to teach you to write an impressive resume which gets you more interviews with much less effort. Here we've got the actual definitions of resume and CV here. So I've got those covered. And in Australia, although CV and resume are used interchangeably, we use resume a lot more often, and as I said earlier, CV is used primarily in the UK, but here we use CV more for an academic type. Okay, so we're going to go through resume writing step by step. The first thing is, don't use the word resume or CV as a heading in the document. Honestly, they've just got your resume, they know it's your resume, and you really don't want to give them the idea that you think they're stupid. Now list your hard skills. Don't list wishy-washy, meaningless generalities. I see these all the time. I'm a great team player, I have fantastic communication, etc. Unless you've got achievements that prove that with evidence, do not use those sort of general statements. Recruiters know what they are and they'll just ignore them. Now you should use a layout that catches the eye, but don't go overboard with graphics and colours and too much bold, too much underlining, because it defeats the whole purpose of what is, after all, a professional document. Don't make this your first page. See here, she's got the heading of curriculum vitae. We know it's a resume, and there's her details. The top half of the first page must stand out and grab that recruiter's attention immediately. List your hard skills like this. Here's an example. We've got her nursing registration here. She's specialising in women's health. She's got exposure to working in these wards, emergency response, and that she's got good computer skills. These are hard skills, not wishy-washy type skills. This is what she had, and she had a generality. It was too long, and you see, without evidence, it's meaningless. Strong communication, excellent aptitude, very experienced in customer service, can multitask. It needs some evidence, it needs a bit more punch. So here we're using CAR, or Challenge Action Result. Here's an example. Which of these sounds better? Assistance in the management of post-operative client care, attendance and participation in in-services and case conferences. Oh, we're all getting a bit bored, very bored. Or could you say, keep in mind I got some more info from this lady, but could you say, I restructured a care plan for a resident post-hip surgery, tailoring patient services to reduce convalescence. See, here we're talking about what she actually did, the challenge, what she did about it, and what the result was. It included meetings and consultation with occupational and diversional therapists, nurses, doctors, cleaners and kitchen staff to collaborate on this patient's care. You see the difference? When you detail your achievements, give specifics. For example, this person was the only assistant nurse consistently requested by name by a resident. She completed her routines and tasks earlier than colleagues, allowing additional time to provide extra patient care and support to team members. See how we're providing evidence, how she can add value, how she's different to everyone else. Then we've got an example here of where she diffused or calmed down a volatile situation that could have got really nasty. So it's the evidence and the challenge, the problem, the action, what she did about it, and the result is what provides the evidence. So don't fall into the generalization trap when you're writing your resume. You can see here she's just given very general statements. Wound care management, medication administration, participating in handover reports, recording. It's boring. When you write your resume and you have a bullet point, use really strong verbs or action words to start the sentences. Some examples could be analysed, evaluated, eliminated, simplified, anticipated, intervened, coached, researched. You get the idea. Use a different one for each bullet point. Another one here is only list relevant training. I see a lot of resumes which have these huge long lists of training, and that's just going to turn the reader off immediately. Look at this. Oh, I've got to wade through all of this training. Oh my goodness. You see here we rewrote that and we only had relevant training. Her degree, in which she got a high distinction, that she has a certificate 3, and some professional development, resuscitation, first aid. All the other stuff that she had really wasn't relevant and was just turning the reader off her resume. Got a list of resume no-nos here that you should keep in mind when writing your resume. They don't need to know your marital status, your age, your date of birth, your favourite pets. Another one I see is going too far back. Positions from the 80s, 30 years ago are no longer relevant and can possibly open the door to 80s discrimination. Remember, the recruiter is seeking to exclude you. They're trying to think of how they can exclude your resume, but you're seeking to be included. Always check for typos and grammatical errors when you're finished, or have someone else do that for you. Don't use abbreviations or technical language and assume the reader knows. Just don't do it. Some do's. When you list achievements, give specifics. Use strong verbs at the start of each bullet point. Use a layout that catches the eye without going overboard. List achievements without using the word I, and have someone else check it. Got some more resume blunders. I love these. I was working for my mum until she decided to move. The company made me a scapegoat, just like my last 3 employers. Not a good look. I failed the bar exam with relatively high grades. Wow, that makes all the difference. And of course, I was instrumental in ruining the entire department. I'm sure that was meant to be running, but you see the effects. In closing, CAR or Challenge Action Result achievements will always win. A resume is as long as it needs to be, but within reason. You don't need a 10-page resume. I know it's our first instinct, but don't undersell yourself. This is the time where you need to sell yourself. And if you get stuck, just email me with any questions. I'm happy to help. My website's there in an exec resume. For more information, you can visit my website. You can check out my ebook, Pro Resumes Made Easy, which goes into this in greater detail and has templates and samples of resumes that